Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Valerie Mills. We have some updated tropical watches and warnings with part of the state under a hurricane watch. That's that pink color we see here across the eastern Big Bend, all of the Tampa Bay area and the west coast under a tropical storm warning. And we have a tropical storm watch for the areas highlighted in pink. That includes Polk County, DeSoto County, and parts of the Panhandle as well. So there's our latest check of the watches and warnings. Those were upgraded for some areas last night into Saturday morning. Here's our latest check on where Tropical Depression 4 is. We've seen that center of circulation starting to emerge on the southern and western side of Cuba, and this is going to move into the Gulf of Mexico sometime on Saturday, expecting this to become Tropical Storm Debby. A lot of favorable conditions for it. Once it moves into the Gulf of Mexico, waters are plenty warm. There's not too much wind shear either, so this will become a tropical storm at some point here off of the west coast. Sunday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, that's when that circulation is going to be generally due west of Tampa Bay. Then it starts to make that curve to the north and east. So sometime late Sunday, early Monday is likely when this moves onshore somewhere around the eastern Big Bend. At this point, it still looks like it will be a tropical storm, but now that that track has shifted a bit more west, that offers more time for this to move through the very warm Gulf waters. So we can't really rule out this possibly strengthening into a low-end hurricane right before it moves onshore the coast of Florida. At this point, none of our models indicating that, but it is showing that this will continue to be a tropical storm even once it starts to cross the state, moving into parts of the Carolinas where it really will slow down early next week. So next Tuesday, Wednesday, we could still be talking about quite a bit of tropical trouble, especially around the Carolinas. That's something that we are going to be closely watching here. Models in pretty good agreement at this point. You can really see where that updated cone from the National Hurricane Center is coming from. All of the models in pretty good agreement with that northwest track turning due north as it kind of scoots right along the west coast. Then a break in the ridge up to the north and east. That's going to kind of pull that storm north and east as it moves kind of off the coast, maybe of the Jacksonville area, but it could move into parts of Georgia. Just kind of depends where it takes that turn and how far it starts to curve off to the east. Here's our latest check on our storm surge watch. That includes the Big Bend all the way down to just south of Fort Myers. So a good portion of the west coast is under this storm surge watch. And here's what we're looking at our forecast for Sunday, even into Monday. But I think the brunt of the storm surge will happen through Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening. So the worst of it coming to the Big Bend area now, where up to 5 feet of storm surge could be possible for Tampa Bay down to Fort Myers. We're talking up to 4 feet of storm surge. And now keep in mind, this doesn't mean the entire coastline of this area will get 5 feet of storm surge, but it shows the potential for any areas in the coastline on the high side to get up to that part of storm surge. So that's important to remember. But we are looking at flooding, especially coastal flooding and the storm surge, to be one of the bigger impacts with this storm. The heavy rain is going to really start to ramp up by Sunday morning. Conditions deteriorate. And then we just continue to get all of those heavy bands of rain moving across the area through Sunday, even into Monday. Once that slows down, I think we'll still be able to pull in all of that deep tropical moisture. So here's a look at Sunday afternoon. As I mentioned, that center of circulation somewhere just west of the Tampa Bay area. That puts us on the right side of the storm, which means a lot of this storm surge and all these heavy bands of rain just continue to kind of whip in around that main center of circulation. So this is paused here. Sunday, 9 o'clock at night, still going to continue to deal with those strong feeder bands. Heavy rain is going to be, as I mentioned, one of the biggest impacts, but we can't rule out some tornadoes spinning up off of some of the strong storms within these rain bands. On top of that, storm surge is going to be a concern even into Monday. Look at this, 6 a.m. still seeing a lot of these heavy rounds of rain moving through the area. We just have a lot of deep tropical moisture that's going to be sitting over the state and continuing to allow for that. I think conditions improve through the day on Monday, but at this point, depending on how quickly the storm kind of scoots off to the north and east, will determine how long we see these impacts and all of these tropical bands moving through the state. Here's a look at our rain accumulations, where at this point 4 to 8 inches is looking really likely for a good portion of our area, up into the Big Bend, Panhandle as well. But we're looking at the potential for up to a foot in some spots. So a lot of flooding, especially coastal flooding, going to be a big concern. Now with that system kind of moving a little bit more to the west, wind's still going to be an issue, but I think the strongest winds won't move through our area. So by Sunday afternoon, 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts, pretty widespread, maybe some spots getting up to that 50, 60 mile per hour range. Now these are gusts, so I don't think we'll see these steady winds all day on Sunday, but the potential for these tropical storm force winds will continue all Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, then by Monday starting to pull back just a little bit, but this is overnight into Monday where we still will likely hear those winds howling with gusts anywhere between about 30 to 40 miles per hour. 7-day forecast keeps our temperatures a little bit cooler Saturday, Sunday into Monday before all of that deep tropical moisture moves out of the state.